Hey guys, it's Maria. Welcome back to my channel. I post videos every single Thursday giving you guys the best tips and tools for being more effective in your practice sessions and helping you achieve your musical goals. So if you're new, consider subscribing. I am so excited for this video because I'm going to be answering all of your guys' questions on the Yamaha N3X, my baby, my new piano. You guys have been leaving so many questions in the comment section of my two previous Yamaha videos. If you haven't seen those, they'll be linked up here. But I'm going to be grouping these into three categories, talking about the different settings for the Yamaha N3X, recording/editing, and how it compares not only to the different models of the Yamaha hybrid pianos, but to acoustic upright and grand pianos. So let's get straight into the video so I can answer your questions. So the first question is, what's the correct volume setting on the N3X to make it comparable to an acoustic instrument? So I can demonstrate this, but since my microphone on the camera auto adjusts, talking quietly and loudly doesn't sound as different for you, I hope that worked, than it does for me. So I have a feeling the volume will pretty much sound the same for you guys, whether I turn it up or down, but I'm still gonna talk you through the different volume settings and what I like to use. So let's give it a try. With the 1/4 sound, especially if you're playing something really busy, you do tend to hear the action sound, which is not what you want. But sometimes when I'm playing, my hands weren't even together. I can't even talk and play at the same time. I thought this was gonna be a good idea. Okay, let's try that again. With the 1/4 sound, especially if you're playing something really busy, you do tend to hear the action. I cannot talk and play it at the same time. But sometimes when it's late and I really want to play without headphones, this is the setting I would use. With half volume, it's a little bit closer to the sound of a normal piano. And this is how I usually film my practice vlogs because I don't want to risk getting a noise complaint, and it's plenty loud as it is, but too often in my lessons I'm asked to turn the volume all the way up, in which case we go to 3/4 volume. This is the normal volume of a grand piano, but since I am in a small space, it sounds a little bit boomy. And I only play at this volume when I'm teaching or when I have my own lesson with my professor, because I can get away with playing at full volume for shorter amounts of time. So when I'm teaching, I'm demonstrating. When I'm playing, I'm like listening and then playing. Just for you guys though, let's turn it up all the way. Oh God, I am so scared. This is full volume. And this is what it sounds like compared to my normal voice. I would argue that this is way louder than a normal piano, and I am kind of pulling back right now because I really am scared of getting a noise complaint. But if you're playing in outside concerts, which this piano is perfect for, remember, because it doesn't go out of tune depending on the weather or humidity, you would probably turn it up all the way just for projection. But when I'm practicing in headphones, the volume stays all the way up, and it actually does not make my ears bleed. It's not too loud at all. It sounds to me like a normal piano. So yes, that's my go-to when I'm in headphones. Let's get back to the couch. Second question, what are the settings you prefer on your N3X to mimic a grand acoustic? So this question was actually really fun to answer, so thank you. I got to know the N3X way better than I did before, trying to come up with the perfect settings for you. So again, this depends on what piece you're playing and what your taste is, what you're looking for, but this is what I came up with. So when you press the sound/voice button, you actually get 10 different sounds, including a synth, and a harpsichord. But that's not what your question was. So I would recommend, as an answer to your question, to choose between these three. Either the number 1, the default setting CFX Grand, number 2, Bosendorfer Imperial, and number 4, Bosendorfer Grand. And between those three, depending on what piece you're playing and your taste, pick your favorite tone, bass, and brilliance of those settings. And it's okay to pick different settings for different pieces you're working on. So for example, the Bosendorfer Grand has a more brilliant upper register. And I I like the bass best in the CFX Grand, at least for the pieces I'm working on right now. Apart from that, you want your reverb to be on 5 to 6, and for reference, it goes all the way to 20, which is ridiculous. Of course, make sure your TRS setting is on so that the piano vibrates when you're playing it. Put the volume anywhere between 3/4 and all the way, depending on what is comfortable to you, and you're all set. You're welcome. Next question. What devices / microphones do you use to record the sound for the piano? Now, I'm obviously not a professional sound engineer by any means, but I just use the Canon EOS M50 and the Rode VideoMic Pro as an external mic for all my videos, including practice vlogs, and that just makes more sense than using the sound from the USB inside the piano, which is a really cool feature that the piano has. But I do talk to myself a lot in my practice sessions, and I want to include that sometimes in the practice vlog. So if I would have to switch from the audio between the USB and my camera, it just wouldn't make for a very good video. But it is possible to record with a USB directly from the piano, and the audio is a little bit better. I touched on how to do this in a previous YAMAHA N3X AVANTGRAND video, which I will leave in the description box below. I can also make a full tutorial for you guys if you want, and I just do this for fun, to show you guys what it sounds like, and sometimes when I'm recording for a piano lesson that I'm gonna have or something like that. But generally for everything else I make for this channel, I'm using the Canon EOS M50 with the Rode VideoMic Pro for an external mic. The next question is, what program did you use to sync the audio? So again, usually for practice vlogs, I don't need to sync the audio because the external mic goes straight into the camera. But when I am recording with a USB, I just play one note dramatically, and just so I can't miss it, you know? And I sync the audio from the USB with the audio from the camera. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. And I edit all my videos in Final Cut Pro. How is the touch on this piano in comparison to an upright or a grand piano, and how much did it cost? So 2 questions here. Let's just get the cost out of the way. On the Yamaha website, it retails for $22,199 USD with financing options if you're purchasing at your local piano store, which is what I did. Regarding the touch, it does feel like a grand because the action comes from a concert grand. And from the perspective of what it feels like to transition from the N3X to an acoustic grand versus an acoustic upright to acoustic grand, the upright doesn't even stand a chance. With an upright, a lot of the features that you need and are key in a grand are just missing. Like often the repetitive note action is not great, there's not too much bass, and just in general it doesn't have that big of a sound just because of the size of an upright versus a grand, which can make you hold a lot of tension inside and make you try to force a bigger sound, which is not good for you or your sound or the piano. Whereas even if you're playing on the N3X with headphones, you can always turn up the volume all the way and really feel like you're producing a lot of sound, so you don't have to hold that tension inside, worrying about how much sound you're actually going to produce on stage. And of course it has all the benefits of concert grand action, so good repeated notes. You have the pedaling mechanism, longer keys, and all the good stuff. And the last question, have you ever played on the N1X? Would you know if the N1X can also feel like a real acoustic upright? So I have played on the N1X when I was picking out the piano in the piano store. It does not feel like an acoustic upright. It feels like a grand because of the action. So it shares the same action with the N3X. Don't quote me on this, but I think it doesn't have as many of the advanced features like the digital piano features, but I will leave the link to the Yamaha website in the description box so you guys can check out the full list of features on your own. The main feature that I would miss playing on the N1X is the TRS, Tactile Response System feature, which makes the whole piano vibrate when you're playing. So when you're playing on a real acoustic, whether it's upright or grand, real pianos vibrate when you play them. You can feel that through the floor, through the pedals, and through the piano itself. That's actually what gives away digital pianos versus acoustic, is that digitals don't vibrate. And unfortunately, the N1X doesn't have that vibrating feature. But other than that, for the purpose of practicing on a piano that has a real concert grand action, they're the same. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. If you have any more questions about the Yamaha N3X or anything else, you can leave them in the comments below and I will answer them in future videos. I'm actually thinking of doing a part 2 because there were so many questions you guys were asking. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and if you want to watch some more of my videos, you can do that right here. Bye guys.